The cream-o, a mellow, mild cream-o.
What's that? Yes, sir, we can fix it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the fabulous Black Box Theater right here in the heart of downtown Chesapeake, Virginia. Tonight, Tidewater Community College and Chesapeake Fine Arts Commission presents Quarantine Radio Theater and its presentation of William Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. Starring Michelle Jenkins, Ezra Peterson, Wesley Pope, Patrick Rostock, Claire Morgan, Taylor Durham, and me, Greg Dragus. Tidewater Community College. Whether pursuing higher education as a freshman or re-entering college after an extended absence, TCC offers an affordable and diverse curriculum for young and old alike. With its convenient campus locations throughout the Hampton Roads area, as well as classes made available through that marvel of modern technology, the World Wide Web, it's easier than ever to make TCC the first step on your journey into a brighter future. Register for spring classes now. From here, go anywhere. And now we take you to the city of Vienna, a den of sin where lewdness and licentiousness run amok. Far from the bustling streets, teeming with brothels and alehouses, rests the stately palace of its governing body, the benevolent Duke Vincentio, where he names his substitute for his upcoming absence from the state.
Aeschylus!
My lord!
Call hither. I say, bid come before us, Angelo.
Yes, my lord.
What figure of us think you he will bear? For you must know we have elected him our absence to supply, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it?
If any in Vienna be of worth to receive such ample grace and honor, it is Lord Angelo.
Look where he comes.
Always obedient to your grace's will, I come to know your pleasure.
Angelo, in our remove be thou at full ourself. Mortality and mercy in Vienna live in thy tongue and heart.
Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my metal before so great a figure be stamped upon it.
No more evasion. We have with a leavened and prepared choice proceeded to you. So fare you well. To the hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws as to your soul seems good. I'll privily away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me to their eyes. I do not relish well their loud applause, nor do I think the man of safe discretion that does affect it. Once more, fare you well.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth and bring you back in happiness.
I thank you. Fare you well.
If the Duke and the other dukes come not to composition with the King of Hungary, why then all the dukes fall upon the King?
Oh, heaven grant us its peace, but not the King of Hungary.
Amen.
Thou concludest like the sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with the 10 Commandments, but scraped one out of the table.
Thou shalt not steal.
Aye, that he raised.
Why, 'twas a commandment to command the captain and all the rest from their functions. They put forth to steal. There's not a soldier of us all that, in the thanksgiving before meat, do relish the petition well that prays for peace.
I never heard any soldier dislike it.
Oh, I believe thee, for I think thou never wast where grace was said.
No, a dozen times at least.
What, in meter?
In any proportion or in any language.
I think, or in any religion.
Aye, why not? Grace is grace, despite of all controversy. As, for example, thou thyself art a wicked villain, despite of all grace.
Well, there went but a pair of shears between us.
Oh, gentlemen!
Behold, behold, where Madam Mitigation comes. I have purchased as many diseases under her roof as comes to...
To what, I pray? To $3,000 a year.
Aye, and more.
I have French crown more.
Well, thou art always figuring diseases in me, but thou art full of error. I am sound.
Nay, not as one would say healthy, but so sound as things that are hollow. And thy bones are hollow. Impiety has made a feast of thee.
Oh, gentlemen.
Oh, now which of your hips has the most profound sciatica?
Oh, well, there's one yonder arrested and carried to prison who's worth 5,000 of you all.
Who's that, I pray thee?
Oh, well, marry, sir, that's Claudio, Senor Claudio.
Claudio
to prison? 'Tis not so.
Nay, but I know 'tis so. I saw him arrested, saw him carried away, and, which is more, within these 3 days, his head to be chopped off.
But after all this fooling, I would not have it so. Art thou sure of this?
Well, I am too sure of it, and it is for getting Madame Giulietta with child.
Believe me, this may be. He promised to meet me 2 hours since, and he was ever precise in his promise-keeping. Away, let's go learn the truth of it.
Thus, what with the war, what with the plague, what with the gallows, and what with poverty, I am custom shrunk.
How now? What's the news with you?
Oh, yonder man is carried to prison.
Well, what has he done?
A woman.
But what's his offense?
Groping for trouts in a peculiar river.
What, is there a maid with child by him?
No, but there's a woman with maid by him.
Or you've not heard the proclamation, have you?
What proclamation, man?
All whorehouses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down.
All our houses of resort in the suburbs be pulled down.
To the ground, mistress.
Oh, why, here's a change indeed in the Commonwealth. Oh, what shall become of me?
Come, fear you not. Good counselors lack no clients. Though you change your place, you need not change your trade. I'll be your tapster still.
Well, what's to do here, Thomas Tapster? Let's withdraw.
Here comes Signor Claudio, led by the provost to prison, and there's Madame Juliet.
Fellow, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison where I am committed.
I do it not in evil disposition, but from Lord Angelo by special charge.
Why, how now, Claudio? Whence comes this restraint?
From too much liberty, my Lucio, liberty.
What's thy offense, Claudio?
What but to speak of would offend again?
What, is it murder?
No.
Lechery?
Call it so.
Away, sir, you must go.
Lucio, a word with a good friend, word with you.
100 if they'll do you any good. Is lechery so looked after?
Thus stand it with me upon a true contract. I got possession of Giulietta's bed. You know the lady, she is fast, my wife. Say that we do the denunciation lack of outward order, but it chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
With a child, perhaps.
Even unhappily, even so, and the new deputy, now for the Duke, this new governor, awake me all the enrolled penalties and for a name. Now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me to surely for a name.
I warrant it is. And thy head stands so tickle on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off. Send after the Duke and appeal to him.
I have done so, but he is not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind service. This day my sister should the cloister enter and there receive her approbation. Acquaint her with the dangers of my state. Employ her in my voice that she make friends with the strict deputy. Bid her assay him. I have great hopes in that, for in her youth there is a prone and speechless dialect, such as move men. Besides, she has prosperous arts when she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade.
I pray she may, for the enjoying of thy life, who I would be sorry should be thus foolishly lost at a game of tic-tac. I'll to her.
Thank you, good friend Lucio.
Within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away.
No, Holy Father, throw away that thought. Believe not that the dribbling dart of love can pierce a complete bosom. Why I desire thee to give me secret harbor hath a purpose more grave and wrinkled than the aims and ends of burning youth.
May your grace speak of it?
I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of stricture and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Vienna. And he supposes me traveled to Poland, for so I've strewn it in the common ear, and so it is received. Now, pious sir, you'll demand of me why I do this?
Gladly, my lord.
We have strict statutes and most biting laws, the needful bits and curbs to headstrong weeds, which for this 19 years we've let slip. Now as fond fathers, having bound up the threatening twigs of birch, in time the rod becomes more mocked than feared. So our decrees, dead to infliction, to themselves are dead, and liberty plucks justice by the nose, the baby beats the nurse, and quite athwart goes all decorum.
It rested in your grace to unloose this tied-up justice when you pleased, and it in you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo.
Oh, I do fear too dreadful. Sith 'twas my fault to give the people scope, 'twould be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do. Therefore, indeed, my father, I have on Angelo imposed the office, and to behold his sway, I will, as 'twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore, I prithee, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may farmily in person bear me like a true friar. Well, Lord Angelo's precise, stands at a guard with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows or that his appetite is more to bread than stone. Hence shall we see, if power changes purpose, what our seamers be.
And have you nuns no farther privileges?
Are these not large enough?
Oh, yes, truly, I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint upon the sisterhood.
Oh, peace be in this place!
Who is that which calls?
It is a man's voice. Gentle Isabella, turn you the key and know his business of him. You may, I may not, you are yet unsworn. When you have sworn, you must not speak with men, but in the presence of the prioress. Then if you speak, you must not show your face, or if you show your face, you must not speak.
Oh!
He calls again. I pray you, answer him.
Peace and prosperity. Who is it that calls?
Hail, virgin, if you be, as those cheek roses proclaim you are no less. Can you stead me as bring me to the sight of Isabella, the fair sister to her unhappy brother Claudio?
Why her unhappy brother? Let me ask the rather, for I now must make you know that I am Isabella and his sister.
Gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you. Not to be weary with you, he's in prison.
Oh, woe me, for what?
For that which, if myself might be his judge, he should receive his punishment and thanks. He hath got his friend with child.
Sir, make me not your story.
It is true. I would not, though 'tis my familiar sin, play with all virgins, so I hold you as a thing enskied and sainted.
You do blaspheme the good in mocking me.
Oh, do not believe it. Fewness and truth, 'tis thus. Your brother and his lover have embraced. Even so, her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry.
Someone with child by him. Juliet?
Oh, she it is.
Oh, let him marry her.
Well, this is the point. The Duke is very strangely gone from hence. Upon his place governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snow broth. He, to give fear to use and liberty, hath picked out an act under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit. He arrests him on it, and follows close the rigor of the statute to make him an example. All hope is gone, unless you have the grace by your fair prayer to soften Angelo.
Doth he so seek his life?
As I hear, the provost hath a warrant for his execution.
Alas, what poor abilities in me to do him good?
Say the power you have.
Oh, my power? Alas, I doubt.
Our doubts are traitors, and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Go to Lord Angelo, and let him learn to know when maidens sue, men give like gods, but when they weep and kneel, all their petitions are as freely theirs as they themselves would owe them.
I'll see what I can do.
But speedily.
I will about it straight. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother, and soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
I take my leave of you.
Oh, good sir, adieu.
We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fear the birds of prey, and let it keep one shape, till custom make it their perch and not their terror.
Aye, but yet let us be keen and rather cut a little, then fall and bruise to death. Alas, this gentleman who I would save had a most noble father. Let but your honor know whether you had not sometimes in your life erred in this point, which now you censure him and pull the laws upon you.
'Tis one thing to be tempted, Aeschylus, another thing to fall. I'll not deny the jury, passing on the prisoner's life, may in the sworn 12 have a thief or two guiltier than him they try. What knows the laws that thieves do pass on thieves? What's open made to justice that justice seizes? You may not so extenuate his office, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I, that censure him, do so offend, let mine own judgment pattern out my death, and nothing come impartial. Sir, he must die.
Be it as your wisdom will.
Where is the provost?
Here, if it like your honor.
See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage.
Well, heaven forgive him and forgive us all. Some rise by sin and some by virtue fall.
I'll know his pleasure. Maybe he will relent. Alas, he hath but has offended in a dream. All sects, all ages smack of this vice, and him to die for it. My lord.
Now, what's the matter, provost?
Is it your will Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Did I not tell thee, yea? Why dost thou ask again?
Lest I might be too rash, I have seen when, after execution, judgment hath repented over his doom.
Go to, let that be mine. Do your office, or give up your place.
I crave your honor's pardon. What shall be done so with the groaning Juliet? She is very near her hour.
Dispose of her to some more fitter place, and that with speed.
My lord, here is the sister of the man condemned, desires access to you.
Hath he a sister?
Aye, my good lord. A very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood, if not already.
Well, let her be admitted. See you, the fornicators, be removed. Let have needful, but not lavish means.
God save your honor.
You're welcome. What's your will?
I am a woeful suitor to your honor. Please, but your honor, hear me.
Well, what's your suit?
There is a vice that I most do abhor, and most desire should meet the blow of justice, for which I would not plead, but that I must.
Well, the matter?
I have a brother is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault, and not my brother.
Heaven give thee moving graces.
Condemn the fault, and not the actor of it. Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function, to find the faults, whose fine stands in record, and let go by the actor.
Oh, just but severe law. I had a brother then. Heaven keep your honor.
Give not o'er so to him. Again, entreat him. Kneel down before him. Hang upon his gown. You are too cold. If you should need a pin, you could not with more a tame tongue desire it. To him, I say.
Must he needs die?
Maiden, no remedy.
But can you if you would?
I will not do it.
But can you if you would?
Look, I will not. That I cannot do.
But might you do it, and do the world no wrong, if so your heart were touched with that remorse as mine is to him?
He's sentenced. 'Tis too late.
Too late. Why no, I that do speak a word may call it back again. No ceremony that to great ones belongs, not the king's crown nor the judge's robe, become them with one half so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you would have slipped like him. But he, like you, would not have been so stern.
Pray you, be gone. Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Alas, alas, why all the souls that were forfeit once? How would you be, if he, which is the top of judgment, should but judge you as you are? Oh, think on that, and mercy will then breathe within your lips like man new made.
Be you content, fair maid. It is the law, not I condemn your brother. Were he my kinsman, my brother, or my son, it should be thus with him. He must die tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden. Spare him, spare him. He's not prepared for death. Even for our kitchens, we kill the fowl of season. Shall we serve heaven with less respect than we do minister to our gross selves? Good, good, my lord, bethink you. Who is it that hath died for this offense? There's many have committed it.
Aye, well said.
The law hath not been dead, though it hath slept. Now 'tis awake, and takes note of what is done.
Yet show some pity.
I show it most of all when I show justice. Be satisfied. Your brother dies tomorrow. Be content.
So you must be the first that gives the sentence, and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant. Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would never be quiet, for every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. But man, proud man, dressed in little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as make the angels weep.
Why do you put these sayings upon me?
Because authority, though it err like others, hath yet a kind of medicine in itself that skins the vice o' the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know. That's like my brother's fault. If it confess a natural guiltiness as is his, let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well.
Gentle, my lord, turn back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Hark, how I'll bribe you.
How? Bribe me?
Aye, with such gifts that heaven shall share with you. Not with fond shekels of the tested gold, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise. Prayers from preserved souls, from fasting maids whose minds are dedicated to nothing temporal.
Well, come to me tomorrow.
Heaven keep your honor safe.
Amen, for I am that way going to temptation where prayers cross.
At what hour tomorrow shall I attend your lordship?
Any time before noon.
Save your honor.
From thee, even from thy virtue. What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted, who sins most? Ah! Nor she, nor does she tempt, but it is I that corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than women's lightness? Oh, fie. What dost thou? What art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. What? Do I love her, that I desire to hear her speak again and feast upon her eyes? What is it I dream on? Oh, cunning enemy, that, to catch a saint, with saints doth bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet, with all her double vigor, art, and nature, once stir my temper, but this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Even till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how.
Hail to you, Provost. Hail to you, Provost. So I think you are.
I am the Provost. What's your will, good friar?
Oh, bound by my charity and my blessed order, I come to visit the afflicted spirits here in the prison, that I may minister to them accordingly.
Look, here comes one. A gentlewoman of mine who, falling in the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report. She is with child, and he that got it sentenced. A young man more fit to do another such offense than die for this.
When must he die?
As I do think tomorrow.
I've provided for you. Stay a while.
Repent, ye fair one, of the sin you carry.
I do, and bear the shame most patiently.
Oh, love you the man that wronged you?
Yes, as I love the woman that wronged him.
So then it seems your most offenseful act was mutually committed.
Mutually.
Then was your sin of a heavier kind than his?
I do confess it and repent it, Father.
There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow, and I am going with instruction to him. Grace go with you. Benedicite.
Must die tomorrow? Oh, injurious love that respites me a life whose very comfort is still a dying horror.
Come, bring them away. Bring them away.
How now, sir? What's the matter?
I beseech your honor, ask me.
What are you, sir?
He, sir, a tapster, parcel bawd, one that serves a woman whose house was, as they say, plucked down in the suburbs. What is it your worship's pleasure I shall do with this man?
Truly, officer, because he hath some offences in him, that thou would have discovered if thou couldst, let him continue in his courses till thou knowest what they are.
Marry, I thank your worship for it.
Where were you born, friend?
Here in Vienna, sir.
So, what trade are you of, sir?
Tapster, a poor widow's tapster.
Your mistress' name?
Mistress Overdone.
Now, sir, what was done once more?
Once, sir. There was nothing done to her once.
Hath she any more than one husband?
9, sir. Nah, overdone by the last.
9? Come you hither to me, Master Tapster. What's your name, Master Tapster?
Pompey Bum, sir.
No, Pompey, you are partly a bard. Howsoever, you colour it, and being a tapster, are you not? Come, tell me true, it shall be the better for you.
Truly, sir, I am a poor fellow that would live.
How would you live, Pompey? By being a bard? What do you think of the trade, Pompey? Is it a lawful trade?
If the law would allow it, sir.
But the law will not allow it, Pompey, nor shall it be allowed in Vienna.
Does your worship mean to geld and splay all the youth of the city?
No, Pompey.
Truly, sir, in my opinion, my poor opinion, they will do it then. If your worship will take order for the drabs and the knaves, you need not fear the bawds.
There are pretty orders beginning, I can tell you. It is but heading and hanging.
If you head and hang all that offend that way, but for 10 years together, you'll be glad to give out a commission for more heads.
Thank you, good Pompey, and I advise you, let me not find you before me again upon any complaint whatsoever. If I do, I shall beat you to your tent and prove a shrewd Caesar to you. In plain dealing, I shall have you wept. So, for this time, Pompey, fare you well.
I thank your worship for your good counsel, but I shall follow it as the flesh and fortune shall better determine. Whip me. No, the valiant heart is not whipped out of his trade. When I would pray, heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. Heaven in my mouth as if it did but only chew his name, and in my heart the strong and swelling evil of my conception. How now? Who's there?
One Isabel, a sister, desires access to you.
Teach her the way. Heavens, why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making it both unable for itself and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? How now, fair maid?
I am come to know your pleasure.
Your brother cannot live.
Even so. Heaven keep your honor.
Yet may he live a while, and it may be as long as you or I, yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Say you so? Then I shall pose quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or, to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanliness as she that he hath stained?
Oh, sir, believe this, I'd rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul.
How say you?
Answer to this. I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
That I do beg his life. If it be sin, heaven let me bear it. You granting of my suit, if that be sin, I'll make it my morn prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and nothing of your answer.
To be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die, and his offense is so, as it appears, accounted upon the law upon that pain.
True.
Admit no other way to save his life, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person, whose credit with the judge could fetch your brother from the manacles of the all-building law, and that there were no earthly mean to save him, but that either you must lay down the treasures of your body to this supposed, or else to let him suffer, what would you do?
Well, as much for my poor brother as myself. That is, were I under the terms of death, the impression of keen whips I'd wear as rubies, and strip myself to death ere I'd yield my body up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And 'twere the cheaper way. Better 'twere a brother died at once than a sister, by redeeming him, should die forever.
Were you not then as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so?
Lawful mercy is nothing kin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather proved the slighting of your brother a merriment than a vice.
Pardon me, my lord. I something do excuse the thing I hate for his advantage that I dearly love.
Well, we are all frail, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than the faults may shake our frames. Let me be bold. I do arrest your words. Be that you are, that is, a woman. If you be one as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show me now.
I have no tongue but one. Gentle, my lords, let me entreat you. Speak the former language.
Oh, plainly conceive. I love you.
My brother did love Juliet, and you tell me that he shall die for it.
He shall not, Isabel, if you give me love. Believe me, on mine honor. My words express my purpose.
Oh, little honor to be much believed in most pernicious purpose. Seeming, I will proclaim thee, Angelo. Look for it. Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat I'll tell the world aloud what a man thou art.
Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, the vouch against you and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. I have begun, and now I will give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and prolixuous blushness that banish for what they sue for. Redeem thy brother up by yielding your body to my will, or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, or, by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false outweighs your true.
To whom should I complain? Did I tell this, who would believe me? Oh, perilous mouths that bear in them one and the selfsame tongue, either of condemnation or reproof, bidding the law make curtsy to their will, hooking both right and wrong to the appetite to follow as it draws. I'll to my brother, though he hath fallen by the promixture of the blood, yet hath he in him such a mind of honor, that hath he had 20 heads to tender down on 20 bloody blocks, he'll yield them up, before his sister should stoop her body to such abhorred pollution. Then Isabel live chaste and brother die. More is our brother than our chastity. I'll tell him yet of Angelo's request, and fit his mind to death for his soul's rest.
Will the virtuous Isabella fall prey to the perverse schemes of the nefarious Angelo to save her dear brother? Stay tuned to find out in the next thrilling chapter of William Shakespeare's Measure for Measure after this brief message. Has quarantine got you down? Have you lost your creative edge? Well, the Arts and Humanities Department at Tidewater Community College has the solution for you. With classes in theater, music, and the visual arts, TCC has just what you need to feed your creativity and become the artist that you were meant to be. Find out more at tcc.edu/arts. Not an artist? Are you more interested in healthcare, business, teaching, science, skilled trades, or other professions? TCC has you covered too. Register now for spring classes at tcc.edu/enroll. You're sure to find the classes and career paths you are looking for. Tidewater Community College. From here, go anywhere. We want to take time out to thank some of our supporters from Tidewater Community College for making tonight happen. President Marcia Constant, Dr. Michelle Woodhouse, Dr. James Edwards, Carrie Ragno, Eleni Snyder and Alice Robinson, TCC Security, Facilities, and Housekeeping staff, the Educational Foundation and Grants Department, and TCC My Thoughts, My Voice, My Arts Committee. Thank you. We take you now to the prison, where the wretched Claudio is comforted by the Duke of Vienna in his disguise as a kindly old Franciscan.
So then you hope of pardon from Lord Angelo?
The miserable have no hope. I have hope to live, and I am prepared to die.
Be absolute for death. Either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter. Dear sir, ere long I'll visit you again.
Most holy sir, I thank you.
What ho! Peace here! here, grace and good company.
Who's there? Come in, the wish deserves a welcome.
My business is a word or two with Claudio.
And very welcome. Look, senor, here's your sister.
Provost, a word with you.
As many as you please.
Bring me to hear them speak, where I may be concealed.
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be in everlasting leisure. Therefore, your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
None, but such a remedy as to save a head to cleave a heart in twain.
But is there any?
Yes, brother, you may live. But there is a devilish mercy in the judge, if you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death.
But in what nature?
In such a one as, you consenting to it, would bark your honor from that trunk you bear and leave you naked.
Let me know the point.
Oh, I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake lest 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honor.
Oh, why give me this shame? If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in my arms.
There spake my brother. There my father's grave did utter forth a voice. Yes, thou must die. Thou art too noble to conserve a life in base appliances. This outward sainted deputy is yet a devil. His filth within being cast, he would appear upon as deep as hell.
Oh, the princely Angelo.
'Tis the cunning livery of hell, the damp's body to invest in cover in princely guards. Dost thou think, Claudio, if I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be free?
Oh, heavens, it cannot be.
Yes, he would give it thee, from this frank offense, so to offend him still. This night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou diest tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do it.
Oh, were it but my life, I'd throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin.
Thanks, dear Isabel.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes. Has he affections in him? That thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? And sure, it is no sin, or of the deadly 7, it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the monetary trick be perdurably fined? Oh, Isabel.
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
Shamed life, a hateful.
Aye, but to die and go we not know where, to lie in cold destruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirits to bathe in the fiery floods or to reside in thrilling regions of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in the viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, 'tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life, the age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas.
Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Oh, you beast. Oh, faithless coward. Oh, dishonest wretch. Will thou be made a man out of my vice? Is it not a kind of incest to take a life from thine own sister's shame? What should I think? Heaven shield my mother played my father fair for such a warped slip of wilderness now issued from his blood. Take my defiance, die, perish, might but my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate. It should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death, no word to save thee.
Nay, hear me, Isabel.
Oh, fie, thy sin's not accidental, but a trait. Mercy to thee would prove itself a bawd. 'Tis best thou diest quickly.
Oh, hear me, Isabella.
Vouchsafe a word, young sister, but one word.
What is your will?
The assault that Angelo hath made to you, fortune hath conveyed to my understanding. How will you do to content this substitute and to save your brother?
I am now going to resolve him. I had rather my brother die by the law than my son should be unlawfully born. But, oh, how much is the good Duke deceived in Angelo? If ever he return, I can speak to him. I will open my lips in vain or discover his government.
That shall not be much amiss. Yet as the matter now stands, he will avoid your accusation. He made trial of you only. Therefore, fasten your ear on my advisings. A remedy presents itself. I do make myself believe that you may most uprighteously do a poor wronged lady a merited benefit, redeem your brother from the angry law, do no stain to your own gracious person, and much please the absent duke, if peradventure he shall ever return to having hearing of this business.
Oh, let me hear you speak farther.
Have you not heard speak of Mariana, the sister of Frederick, the great soldier who miscarried at sea?
Well, I have heard of the lady, and good words went with her name.
She should this Angelo have married, was affianced to her by oath, and the nuptial appointed, between which time of the contract and limit of the solemnity, her brother Frederick was wrecked at sea, having in that perished vessel the dowry of his sister. There she lost a noble and renowned brother, and with him the portion and sinew of her fortune, her marriage dowry, with both her combinate husband, this well-seeming Angelo.
Oh, can this be so? Did Angelo so leave her?
Left her in her tears, and dried not one of them with his comfort. Swallowed his vows whole, pretending in her discoveries of dishonor.
What corruption in this life that it will let this man live! But how out of this can she avail?
Oh, it is a rupture that you may easily heal. And the cure of it not only saves your brother, but keeps you from dishonor in doing it.
Oh, well, show me how, good father.
This forenamed maid hath yet in her the continuance of her first affection. His unjust unkindness, that in all reason should have quenched her love, hath made it more violent and unruly. Go you to Angelo. Agree with his demands to the point, only refer yourself to this advantage. First, that your stay with him may not be long, that the time may have all shadow and silence in it, and the place answer to convenience. This being granted in course, and now follows all, we shall advise this wronged maid to go in your place. If the encounter acknowledge itself hereafter, it may compel him to a recompense. And here by this is your brother saved, your honor untainted, the poor Mariana advantaged, and the corrupt deputy scaled. What think ye of it?
Well, the image of it gives me content already.
Haste speedily to Angelo. Give him promise of satisfaction. I will presently to St. Luke's. There at the moated grange resides the dejected Mariana. At that place, call upon me.
Oh, I thank you for this comfort. Fare you well, good father.
Nay, if there be no remedy for it, but that you will needs buy and sell men and women like beasts.
Oh, heavens! What stuff is here?
'Twas never a merry world since the merriest was put down, and the worser, allowed by order of law, a furred gown to keep him warm.
Ah, come your way, sir. Bless you, good Father Friar.
And you? What offense hath this man made to you, sir?
Marry, sir, he hath offended the law, and he must before the deputy. The deputy cannot abide a whoremaster.
I spy comfort, I cry bail. Here's a gentleman and a friend of mine.
Now, noble Poppy. What, at the wheels of Caesar? Art thou led in triumph? What, is there none of Pygmalion's images, newly made woman, to be had now for putting the hand in the pocket and extracting it clutched? What reply? What sayest thou to this tune? Matter and method. Is it not drowned in the last rain? What sayest thou, Trot? Is the world as it was, man? Which is the way? Is it sad, a few words, or how? The trick of it? How doth thy dear morsel, thy mistress, procure still? Art going to prison, Poppy?
Yes, faith, sir.
Why, 'tis not amiss, Poppy. Farewell. Go say I sent thee. For debt, Pompey, or how?
For being a bawd.
Well then, imprison him. If imprisonment be the due of a bawd, why, 'tis his right. Bawd is he doubtless, and of antiquity too, bawd born. Farewell, good Poppy. Commend me to the prison.
I hope, sir, your good worship will be my bail.
No, indeed I will I not, Poppy. It is not the fashion. Adieu, trusty Poppy. Bless you, friar.
And you?
Come your way, sir. Come.
You will not bail me then, sir?
Then, Pompey, nor now. What news abroad, friar? What news?
Come, sir.
Go to kennel, Pompey, go. What news, friar, of the Duke?
I know none.
It was mad fantastical trick of him to steal from the state and usurp the beggary he was never born to. Lord Angelo dukes it well in his absence. He puts transgression to it.
He does well in it.
A little more lenity to lechery would do no harm in him. Something too crabbed that way, friar.
It is too general a vice, and severity must cure it.
Oh, yes, in good sooth, the vice is of a great kindred. It is well allied, but it is impossible to extirpate it quite, friar, till eating and drinking be put down. They say this Angelo was not made by man and woman after his downright way of creation. Is it true, think you?
How should he be made, then?
Well, some report a sea maid spawned him, some that he was begot between two stock fishes. But it is certain that when he makes water, his urine is congealed ice.
Oh, you're pleasant, sir, and speak apace.
What a ruthless thing is this in him for the rebellion of a codpiece to take away the life of a man. Would the Duke that is absent have done this? He had some feeling of the sport. He knew the service, and that instructed him to mercy.
I never heard the absent Duke much detected for women.
Oh, sir, you are deceived.
'Tis not possible.
Oh, not the Duke. Yes, your beggar of 50, and his use was to put a ducat in her clack dish. He would be drunk, too. That, let me inform you.
You do him wrong, surely.
Oh, sir, I was an inward of his. A shy fellow was the Duke, but this I can let you understand. The great file of the subject held the Duke to be wise.
Wise? Well, no question but he was.
Well, a very superficial, ignorant, unweighing fellow.
Either this is the envy in you, folly or mistaking. Therefore, you speak unskillfully. Or if your knowledge be more, it is much darkened in your malice.
Sir, I know him, and I love him.
Love talks with better knowledge, and knowledge with dearer love.
Come, sir, I know what I know.
I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. But if ever the Duke return, as our prayers are he may, let me desire you to make your answer before him. And I pray you, your name?
Oh, sir, my name is Lucio, well known to the Duke.
Well, he shall know you better, sir, if I may live to report you.
I fear you not. But no more of this. Canst thou tell if Claudio die tomorrow or no?
Why should he die, sir?
Why, for filling a bottle with a tundish. I would the Duke we talk of were returned again. The ungentured aged will unpeople the province with continency. Sparrows must not build in his house eaves because they are lecherous. The Duke yet would have dark deeds darkly answered. He would never bring them to light. Would he were returned. Mary, this Claudio is condemned for untrussing. Farewell, good friar. I prithee pray for me. The Duke, I say to thee again, would eat mutton on Fridays. He's not past it yet. And I say to thee, he would mouth with a beggar, though she smelt brown bread and garlic. Say that I said so. Farewell.
Wounding calumny! The whitest virtue strikes! What king so strong can tie the gall up in the slanderous tongue?
No, but my lord, no!
But who comes here?
Go, away without a prison.
Good my lord, be good to me. Oh, your honor is accounted a merciful man. Good my lord.
This would make mercy swear and play the tyrant.
A bard of 11 years' continuance, may it please your honor.
Oh. My lord, this is one Lucio's information against me. Oh, Mistress Kate Keepdown was with child by him in the Duke's time. He promised her marriage. His child is 1.25 years old, come May. Oh, I have kept it myself, and see how he goes about to abuse me.
That fellow is a fellow of much license. Let him be called before us. Away without a prison.
Oh, good my lord, no, have mercy.
No more words.
In a moated grange at St. Luke's, the crafty Duke, as his alter ego, Friar Lodowick, and the intrepid Isabella, attempt to recruit the dejected maiden Mariana to their enterprise.
Very well met and welcome. What is the news from this good deputy?
He hath a garden circummured with brick, whose western side is with a vineyard backed. There I have made my promise upon the heavy middle of the night to call upon him.
Are there no other tokens between you agreed concerning her observance?
No, none, but only a repair in the dark, and that I have possessed him, my most stay can be but brief.
'Tis well borne up. I have not yet made known to Mariana a word of this. What ho? Within? Come forth. I pray you, be acquainted with this maid. She comes to do you good.
I do desire the like.
Do you persuade yourself that I respect you?
Oh, good friar, I know you do and have found it.
Take then this, your companion by the hand, who hath a story ready for your ear. I shall attend your leisure, but make haste. The vaporous night approaches.
Oh, wilt please you walk aside?
Oh, place and greatness. Millions of false eyes are stuck upon thee. Volumes of report run with these false and most contrarious quests. Upon thy doings, thousands escapes of wit make thee the father of their idle dreams and rack thee in their fancies. Welcome, how agreed?
She'll take the enterprise upon her, father, if you advise it.
It is not my consent, but my entreaty too.
Oh, little have you to say when you depart from him, but soft and low, remember now my brother.
Oh, fear me not.
Nor, gentle daughter, fear you not at all. He is your husband on a pre-contract. To bring you thus together, 'tis no sin. Come, let us go. Our corn's to reap, for yet our tithes to sow.
Look, here's the warrant, Claudio, for thy death. 'Tis now dead midnight, and by 8 tomorrow thou must be made immortal. Go, prepare yourself. But hark, what noise? By and by, I hope it is some pardon or reprieve for the most gentle Claudio. Welcome, father.
The best and wholesomest spirits of the night envelop your good provost. Who called here of late?
None, since the curfew rung.
Not Isabel.
No.
They will then, ours belong.
What comfort is for Claudio?
Oh, there's some in hope.
'Tis a bitter deputy.
Oh, not so, not so. Oh, now they are come. Now, what noise? That spirit's possessed with haste. Oh, this is his lordship's man, and here comes Claudio's pardon.
My lord has sent you this note, and by me this further charge, that you swerve not from the smallest article of it, neither in time, matter, or other circumstance.
I shall obey him.
This is his pardon, purchased by such sin for which the pardoner himself is in. When vice makes mercy, mercy's so extended, that for the false love is the offender friended. Now, sir, what news?
I told you. Lord Angelo, belike thinking me remiss in mine office, awakens me with this unwonted putting on. It seems strange, for he hath not used it before.
Pray, let's hear.
Whatsoever you may hear to the contrary, let Claudio be executed by 4 of the clock. For my better satisfaction, let his head be sent me by 5. Let this be duly performed, with a thought that more depends on it than we must yet deliver. Thus fail not to do your office, as you will answer it at your peril. What say you to this, sir?
I will lay myself in hazard. Claudio, whom you have here to warrant to execute, is no greater forfeit to the law than Angelo, who hath sentenced him. To make you understand this in a manifested effect, I crave but 1 day's respite, for the which you are to do me both a present and dangerous courtesy.
Pray, sir, in what?
In the delaying death.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Cabin fever setting in. Don't just read history, live history. At the Great Bridge, Battlefield, and Waterways Museum, you will experience life in the 18th century Virginia. Discover the water that defined the landscape, and even find yourself in the middle of the Battle of Great Bridge, which led Virginia on the path to independence. Learn how the Dismal Swamp and Albemarle and Chesapeake canals were created. Explore miles of nature trails, a marsh overlook, and an outdoor historic park along the Intercoastal Waterway. Your family adventures begins at the Great Bridge, Battlefield, and Waterways Museum. All COVID-19 safety precautions apply. Go to gbbattlefield.org for more information. We want to take the time out to thank some of our supporters from around the Hampton Roads area for making tonight happen. The Chesapeake Fine Arts Commission, Jim Hazel, Richard Hutt, and the Chesapeake TV Channel 48 crew, Paul Lassikow, Kate Malish, Christian Garthright, and the Roper Performing Arts Center. And of course, viewers like you. We now return for the thrilling conclusion to William Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. Desperate to save Claudio's life from the wicked machinations of Lord Angelo, the resourceful Duke and his ever-stalwart provost hatch an ingenious if gruesome plan. As fate would have it, a notorious pirate named Ragozine, bearing a passing resemblance to the condemned Claudio, died the night before in that same prison. The deceased pirate's head is delivered in place of Claudio's, and Angelo is none the wiser. With this ghastly task complete, we return to the prison and Duke Vincentio.
Now will I write letters to Angelo, whose contents shall witness to him that I am near at home, and that by great injunctions I am bound to enter publicly. Him I'll desire to meet me at the consecrated fount, a league below the city, and from thence, by cold gradation and well-balanced form, we shall proceed with Angelo.
Peace ho, be here.
The tongue of Isabel. She's come to know if yet her brother's pardon be come hither. But I'll keep her ignorant of her good, to make her heavenly comforts of despair when it is least expected.
Ho, by your leave.
Good morning to you, fair and gracious daughter.
Hath yet the deputy sent my brother's pardon?
He hath released him, Isabella, from the world. His head is off and sent to Angelo.
Oh, nay, but it isn't so.
It is no other. Show your wisdom, daughter, in your close patience.
Oh, I will to him and pluck out his eyes!
You shall not be admitted to his sight.
Oh, unhappy Claudio! Oh, wretched Isabel! Into this world most damned Angelo!
Oh, this nor hurts him, nor profits you a jot. Forbear it, therefore. The Duke comes home tomorrow. Nay, dry your eyes. One of our convent and his confessor gives me this instance. Already he hath carried notice to Aeschylus and Angelo, who do prepare to meet him at the gates, there to give up their power. If you can, pace your wisdom in that good path that I would wish it go, and you shall have your bosom on this wretch, grace of the Duke, revenges to your heart, and general honor.
I am directed by you.
This letter, then to Friar Peter give. 'Tis that he sent me of the Duke's return. Say, by this token, I desire his company at Mariana's house tonight. Her cause and yours I'll perfect him withal, and he shall bring you before the Duke, and to the head of Angelo accuse him home and home. For my poor self I am combined by a sacred vow, and shall be absent. Wend you with this letter. Command the fretting waters from your eyes. With a light heart, trust not my holy order if I pervert your course. Who's here?
Oh, good even! Friar, where's the provost?
Not within, sir.
Oh, pretty Isabella, I am pale at mine heart to see thine eyes so red. By my troth, Isabella, I love thy brother. If the old fantastical Duke of Dark Corners had been at home, he had lived.
Sir, the Duke is marvelous little beholding to your reports. but the best is he lives not in them.
Friar, thou knowest not the Duke so well as I do. He's a better woodman than thou takest him for.
Well, you'll answer to this one day. Fare you well.
Oh, nay, Terry, I'll go along with thee. I can tell thee pretty tales of the Duke.
You have told me too many of him already, sir.
I was once before him for getting a wench with child.
Did you such a thing?
Yes, Mary, did I, but I was fain to forswear it. They would also have married me to the rotten meddler.
Sir, your company is fairer than honest. Rest you well.
Oh, by my troth, I'll go with thee to the lane's end. If bawdy talk offend you, we'll have very little of it. And nay, friar, I'm a kind of burr, I shall stick.
Every letter he have writ have divouched other.
In most uneven and distracted manner. His actions show much to madness. Pray heaven his wisdom be not tainted. And why meet him at the gates and redeliver our authorities there?
I guess not.
And why should we proclaim it in an hour before his entering, that if any grave redress of injustice, they should exhibit their petitions in the street?
He shows his reasons for that, to have a dispatch of complaints and to deliver us from devices hereafter, which shall then have no power to stand against us.
Well, I beseech you, let it be proclaimed betimes in the morn. I'll call you at your house. Give notice to such men of sort and suit as are to meet him.
I shall, sir. Fare you well.
Good night. This deed unshapes me quite. A deflowered maid by an eminent body that enforced the law against it. But that her tender shame will not proclaim against her maiden loss, how she might tongue me. Yet, reason dares her know, my authority bears a cretin bulk that no particular scandal once can touch, but confounds the breather. He should have lived, save that riotous youth with dangerous sense might in the times have come, have taken revenge, would he had lived. Lack! When once our grace we have forgot, nothing goes right. We would, and we would not.
My very worthy cousin, fairly met. Our old and faithful friend, we're glad to see you.
Happy return be to your royal grace.
Many and hearty thankings to you both. We've made inquiry of you, and we hear such goodness of your justice that our soul cannot but yield you forth to public thanks.
You make my bond still greater.
Oh, your desert speaks loud. Give me your hand and let the subjects see. Come, Aeschylus, you must walk by us on our other hand. Good supporters are you.
Now is your time. Speak loud. Kneel before him.
Justice, O royal duke, veil your regard upon a wronged. I would have fain said a maid. O worthy prince, hear me in my true complaint and give me justice. Justice, justice, justice.
Relate your wrongs. In what? By whom? Be brief. Here is Lord Angelo shall give you justice. Reveal yourself to him.
O worthy duke, you bid me seek redemption of the devil. Hear me yourself. Oh, hear me here.
My lord, her wits, I fear me, are not firm. She hath been a suitor to me for her brother, cut off by course of justice.
By course of justice.
And she will speak most bitterly and strange.
Most strange, but yet most truly I will speak. That Angelo's forsworn, is it not strange? That Angelo's a murderer, is it not strange? That Angelo is an adulterous thief, an hypocrite, a virgin violator, is it not strange and strange?
Nay, it is 10 times strange.
Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth to the end of reckoning.
Away with her. Poor soul, she speaks this in the infirmity of sense.
Oh, Prince, I conjure thee that thou neglect me not with that opinion, that I am touched with madness. Make not impossible but what seems an alike. 'Tis not impossible but one, the wicked's caitiff on the ground, may seem as shy, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so may Angelo, in all his dressings, characters, titles, forms, be an arch-villain. Believe it, royal prince. If he be less, he's nothing, but he's more, had I more a name for badness.
By mine honesty, if she be mad, her madness hath the oddest frame of sense.
I am the sister of one Claudio, condemned upon the act of fornication to lose his head, condemned by Angelo. I, in probation of a sisterhood, was sent to by my brother one Lucio, as then the messenger.
Well, that's I. And, like your grace, I came to her from Claudio and desired her to try her gracious fortune with Lord Angelo for her poor brother's pardon.
That's he indeed.
You were not bid to speak.
No, my good lord, nor wish I to hold my peace.
I wish you now then, pray you take note of it, and when you have a business for yourself, pray heaven you then be perfect.
I warrant, your honor.
The warrant's for yourself. Take heed to it.
This gentleman told somewhat of my tale.
Right.
It may be right, but you are in the wrong to speak before your time. Proceed.
In brief, how I persuaded, how I prayed and kneeled, how he repelled me, and how I replied. For this of much length, the vile conclusion I now begin with grief and shame to utter. He would not but by gift of my chaste body to his concupiscible intemperate lust release my brother. And after much debatement, my sisterly remorse confutes mine honor, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes his purpose for surfeiting, he sends a warrant for my poor brother's head.
By heaven, fond wretch, thou knowest not what thou speakest. First, his integrity stands without blemish. Next, if he had so offended, he would have weighed thy brother by himself and not have cut him off. Someone hath set you on. Confess the truth, and say by whose advice thou camest here to complain.
Oh, and is this all? Then, O you blessed ministers above, keep me in patience, and with ripened time unfold the evil which is wrapped up here in countenance. Heaven shield your grace from woe, as I, thus wronged, hence unbelieved go.
An officer, to prison with her. Shall we thus permit a blasting and scandalous breath to fall on him, so near us? This needs must be a practice. Who knew of your intent in coming hither?
One that I would were here, Friar Lodowick.
Oh, ghostly father belike. Who knows that Lodowick?
My lord, I know him. 'Tis a meddling friar. I do not like the man. Had he been by, my lord, for certain words he spake against your grace and your retirement, I had swinged him soundly.
Words against me? This is a good friar belike. And to set on this wretched woman here against our substitute? Let this friar be found.
But yesternight, my lord, she and that friar, I saw them at the prison. A saucy friar, a very scurvy fellow.
Blessed be your royal grace. I've stood by, my lord. I've heard your royal ear abused. First, had this woman most wrongfully accused your substitute, who is as free from touch or soil from her as she from one ungot.
We did believe no less. Know you that Friar Lodowick that she speaks of?
I know him for a man divine and holy, not scurvy nor a temporary meddler, as he's reported by this gentleman, and, on my trust, a man that never yet did, as he vouches, misreport your grace.
My lord, most villainously believe it.
Well, he may come in time to clear himself, but at this instant he is sick, my lord, of a strange fever. Upon his mere request came I hither to speak, as from his mouth, what he doth know is true and false. First, for this woman, to justify this worthy gentleman so vulgarly and personally accused, her shall you hear disprove to her eyes till she herself confess it.
Good friar, let's hear it. Do you not smile at this, Lord Angelo? Oh, heaven, the vanity of wretched fools. Come, cousin Angelo, be you judge of your own cause. Is this the witness, friar? First, let her show her face, then after speak.
Oh, pardon, my lord. I will not speak until my husband bids me.
What, are you married?
No, my lord.
Are you a maid?
No, my lord.
A widow, then?
Neither, my lord.
Why, you are nothing, then. Neither maid, widow, nor wife?
My lord, she may be a punk, for many of them are neither maid, widow, nor wife.
Silence that fellow! I wish he had some cause to prattle for himself.
Well, my lord.
My lord, I do confess I ne'er was married, and I confess besides I am no maid. I have known my husband, yet my husband knows not that he ever knew me.
He was drunk then, my lord. It could be no better.
For the benefit of silence, would thou wert so too.
Well, my lord.
This is no witness for Lord Angelo.
Now I come to it, my lord. She that accuses him of fornication in self-same manner doth accuse my husband, and charges him, my lord, with such a time when I'll depose I had him in mine arms with all the effect of love.
Charges she more than me?
Not that I know.
No, you say her husband.
Why, just, my lord, and that is Angelo, who thinks he knows that he ne'er knew my body, but knows he thinks he knows Isabel's.
This is a strange abuse. Let's see thy face.
My husband bids me, now I will unmask. This is that face, thou cruel Angelo, which once thou sworest was worth the looking on. This is the hand which, with a vowed contract, was fast belocked in thine. This is the body that took away the match from Isabel and did supply thee at thy garden house in her imagined person.
Know you this woman?
Cardinally, she says.
Sirrah, no more!
Enough, my lord.
My lord, I must confess I know this woman, and 5 years since there was some speech of marriage betwixt myself and her, which was broke off, partly for that her promised proportions came short of composition, but in chief that her reputation was disvalued in levity. Since which time of 5 years I never spake with her, saw her, nor heard from her, upon my faith and honor.
Noble prince, I am affianced this man's wife as strongly as words could make up vows, and, my good lord, but Tuesday night last gone in's garden house, he knew me as a wife.
I did but smile until now. Now, good my lord, give me the scope of justice. My patience here is touched. I do perceive these poor informal women are no more but instruments of some more mightier member that sets them on. Let me have my way, my lord, to find this practice out.
Aye, with my heart, and punish them to your height of pleasure. Thou foolish friar, and thou pernicious woman, compact with her that's gone, thinkest thou thy oaths were testimonies against his worth and credit that sealed in approbation? You, Lord Aeschylus, sit with my cousin. Lend him your kind pains to find out this abuse, whence 'tis derived. There is another friar that set them on. Let him be sent for.
Would he were here, my lord, for he indeed hath sent the women on this complaint. Your provost knows the place where he abides. He may fetch him.
Go, do it instantly. And you, my noble and well-warranted cousin, do with your injuries as seems you best in any chastisement. I for a while will leave you, but stir not till you have well determined upon these slanderers.
My lord will do it thoroughly. Signor Lucio, did you not say you knew that Friar Lodewick to be a dishonest person?
Honest in nothing but in his clothes, and one that hath spoke most villainous speeches of the Duke.
We shall entreat you to abide here till he comes, and then force them against him. We shall find this friar to be a notable fellow.
As any in Vienna, on my word.
Call that same Isabel here once again. I would speak with her. Pray you, my Lord Angelo, give me leave to question. You shall see how I'll handle her.
No, but not better than he, by her own report.
Say you?
Marry, sir, I think if you handled her privately, she would sooner confess. Perchance publicly she'll be ashamed.
I will go darkly to work with her.
That's the way, for women are light at midnight.
Come on, mistress. Here's a gentlewoman denies all that you have said.
Oh, my lord, here comes the rascal I spoke of, here, with the provost.
In very good time. Speak you not to him till we call upon you.
Mum?
Come, sir. Did you set these women on to slander Lord Angelo? They have confessed you did.
Oh, 'tis false.
How? Know you where you are.
Where's the Duke? 'Tis he should hear me speak.
The Duke is in us, and we will hear you speak. Look, you speak justly.
Oh, boldly at least. Good night to your redress. Is the Duke gone? Then is your cause gone too. The Duke's unjust thus to put your trial in the villain's mouth, where here you come to accuse.
This is the rascal. This is he I spoke of.
Why, thou unreverend and unhallow friar, it's not enough thou have stubborn these women to accuse this worthy man, but in foul mouth and in the witness of proper ear to call him villain? Take him hence to the rack with him. We'll toust you joint by joint, but we will know his purpose, what unjust.
Be not so hot. The Duke dare no more stretch this finger of mine than he dare rack his own. My business in this state made me a looker-on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and bubble till it o'errun the stew. Laws for all faults, but faults so countenanced that the strong statutes stand as much in mock as mark.
Slaughter to the stake, away with him to prison.
What can you vouch against him, Signor Lucio? Is this the man that you did tell us of?
'Tis he, my lord. Come hither, good man Baldpate. Do you know me?
I remember you, sir, by the sound of your voice. I met you at the prison in the absence of the Duke.
Oh, did you so? And do you remember what you said of the Duke?
Most notedly, sir.
Do you so, sir? And was the Duke a fleshmonger, a fool, and a coward, as you then reported him to be?
You must, sir, change persons with me, ere you make that my report. You indeed spoke so of him, and much more, much worse.
Oh, thou damnable fellow. Did not I pluck thee by the nose for thy speeches?
I protest I love the Duke as I love myself.
How the villain would close now after his treasonable abuses.
Such a fellow is not to be talked with. Away with him to prison. Where is the provost? Away with him to prison. Lay bolts enough upon him. Let him speak no more.
Stay, sir. Stay a while.
What, resist he? Help him, Lucio.
Come, sir, come, sir. Oh, sir, why? You bald-pated lying rascal. You must be hooded, must you? Show your knave's visage with a pox to you. Show your sheep-biting face and be hanged an hour. Wilt not off.
Thou art the first knave that e'er madest a duke.
This may prove worse than hanging.
Oh, sneak not away, sir, for the friar and you must have a word anon. Lay hold on him. Aeschylus, what you have spoke I pardon. Sit you down. We'll borrow place of him. Angelo, by your leave, hast thou word or wit or impudence that yet can do thee office? If thou hast, rely upon it till my tale be heard, and hold no longer out.
Oh, my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness, to think I can be indiscernible when I perceive your grace, like power divine, hath looked upon my passes. Then, good prince, no longer session hold upon my shame, but let my trial be mine own confession, immediate sentence, then, and sequent death is all the grace I beg.
Come hither, Mariana. Say, wast thou e'er contracted to this woman?
I was, my lord.
Go, take her hence, and marry her instantly. Do you the office, friar, which consummate return him here again. Go with him, provost. Come hither, Isabel. Your friar is now your prince, as I was then, advertising and wholly to your business. Not changing heart with habit, I am still attorneyed at your service.
Oh, give me pardon that I, your vassal, have employed and pained your unknown sovereignty.
You are pardoned, Isabel. And now, dear maid, be you as free to us. Your brother's death, I know, sits at your heart, and you may marvel why I obscured myself, laboring to save his life, and would not rather make rash remonstrance of my hidden power than let him be so lost. Oh, most kind maid, it was the swift celerity of his death, which I did think with slower foot came on, that brained my purpose. But peace be with him. That life is better life, past fearing death, than that which lives to fear. Make it your comfort, so happy is your brother.
I do, my lord.
For this new married man, approaching here, whose salt imagination hath yet wronged your well-defended honor, you must pardon for Mariana's sake. But as he adjudged your brother, and Angelo for Claudio, death for death, haste still pays haste, and leisure answers leisure. Like doth quit like, and measure still for measure. Then, Angelo, thy faults thus manifested, we do condemn thee to the very block where Claudio stooped to death, and with like haste.
Oh, my most gracious lord, I hope you will not mock me with a husband.
It is your husband mocked you with a husband. For his possessions, although by confiscation they are ours, we do instate and widow you withal to buy you a better husband.
Oh, my dear lord, I crave no other nor no better man.
Never crave him. We are definitive.
Oh, gentle, my liege.
You do but lose your labor. Away with him to death.
Oh, my good lord, oh, sweet Isabel, take my part, lend me your knees, and all my life to come, I'll lend you all my life to do you service.
Against all sense you do importune her. Should she kneel down in mercy of this fact, her brother's ghost his paved bed would break, and take her hence in horror.
Isabel, sweet Isabel, do yet but kneel by me, hold up your hands, say nothing, I'll speak all. They say best men are molded out of faults, and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad. So may my husband. Oh, Isabel, will you not lend a knee?
He dies for Claudio's death.
Most bounteous sir. Look, if it please you, on this man condemned, as if my brother lived. I partly think it due sincerity governed his deeds, till he did look on me. Since it is so, let him not die. My brother had but justice, in that he did the thing for which he died. For Angelo, his act did not overtake his bad intent, and must be buried, but has an intent that perished by the way. Thoughts are no subjects, intents, but merely thoughts.
Merely, my lord.
Your suit's unprofitable. Now, I've thought of me another fault. Provost, how came it Claudio was beheaded at an unusual hour?
It was commanded so.
Had you a special warrant for the deed?
No, my good lord, it was by private message.
For which I do discharge you of your office. Give up your keys.
Pardon me, noble lord. I thought it was a fault, but knew it not. Yet did repent me after more advice. For testimony whereof one in the prison that should by private order else have died, I have reserved alive.
Would thou hadst done so by Claudio. Go, fetch him hither, let me look upon him.
I am sorry. One so learned and so wise as you, Lord Angelo, have still appeared should slip so grossly, both in the heat of blood and lack of tempered judgment afterwards.
I am sorry that such sorrow I procure, and so deep sticks it in my penitent heart that I crave death more willingly than mercy. 'Tis my deserving, and I do entreat it.
This is the prisoner that I saved, who should have died when Claudio lost his head, as like almost to Claudio as himself.
Claudio!
Isabella, sweet sister.
If he be like your brother, for his sake is he pardoned. By this Lord Angelo perceives he's safe. Methinks I see a quickening in his eye. Well, Angelo, your evil quits you well. Look that you love your wife, her worth yours. I find an apt remission in myself, and yet here's one in place that I cannot pardon. You, sirrah, that knew me for a fool, a coward, one all of luxury, an ass, a madman. Wherein have I so deserved of you that you extol me thus?
Faith, my lord, I spoke it but according to the trick. If you will hang me for it, you may, but I had rather it would please you I might be whipped.
Proclaim it, Provost, round about the city. Is any woman wronged by this lewd fellow? As I have heard him swear himself, there's one whom he begot with child. Let her appear, and he shall marry her.
Oh, I beseech your highness, do not marry me to a whore. Your highness said even now, I made you a duke. Good, my lord, do not recompense me in making me a cuckold.
Upon mine honor, thou shalt marry her. Thy slanders I forgive. Take him to prison, and see our pleasure herein executed.
Marrying a punk, my lord, is pressing to death, whipping, and hanging.
Slandering a prince deserves it. She, Claudio, that you wronged, look you restore. Joy to you, Mariana. Love her, Angelo. I have confessed her, and I know her virtue. Thanks, good friend Aeschylus, for thy much goodness. Thanks, Provost, for thy care and secrecy. We shall employ thee in a worthier place. Forgive him, Angelo, that brought you home the head of Ragazine for Claudio's. The offense pardons itself. Dear Isabel, I have a motion much imports your good, whereto if you'll a willing ear incline, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. So, bring us to our palace, where we shall know what's yet behind, and that's meat you all should know.
This concludes our production of Measure for Measure. Let's take a moment to recognize those members of the cast and crew. Duke Vincentio was played by Michelle Jenkins. Angelo and Pompey were played by Ezra Peterson. Aeschylus, Claudio, and Second Gentleman were played by Wesley Pope. Provost, Friar Peter, and First Gentleman were played by Patrick Rostock. Isabella was played by Claire Morgan. Mistress Overdone, Juliet, Mariana, and Francisca were played by Taylor Durham. Narrator and Lucio were played by me, Greg Drax. Measure for Measure was directed and set design by Logan Bennett. Artistic director is Matthew Goris. Lighting design by Kate Mealish. Costume and props by April Pierce and Lauren Siampoli. Sound design by Heather Williams. Stage manager and lightboard operator is Madeline Bright. Thank you again to Tidewater Community College and the Chesapeake Fine Arts Commission. Tidewater Community College, from here, go anywhere. And a very special thank you to the viewers for tuning in for this special evening. I'm Greg Dragus, and from all of us here at TCC, good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but all's well that ends well. Give me your hands if we be friends. Good night, and I'll see you on the radio.